B&Q, but they've been doing an outstanding job throughout the pandemic, and actually it's one of the companies that's been able to put on jobs during the pandemic. But we're also talking about lifting up the living wage, the national living wage, so everybody gets £8.91 an hour minimum in the private sector, and it's the fastest growth in incomes for people on low wages for I think 20 years or so, and that's very, very important, part of our levelling up agenda, building back better and helping families through what has unquestionably been a tough time.
Your advisor on ethnic minorities, Sumak, has resigned. He said that previously said the Conservative Party was pursuing politics steeped in division. It doesn't look good, does it? 24 hours after you produce a report on race.
Well, I worked very closely with Samuel in the last year or so, and he's done some great stuff, and I thank him very much, particularly on helping to encourage vaccine take-up amongst more hesitant groups and communities, and actually we're seeing some real success there. And although it is true that different groups have been coming forward at different paces, everybody is increasing their take-up. So I thank him very much for that.
On the race review, it's being widely condemned by people of colour and by equality campaigners. Are they wrong?
Look, this is a very interesting piece of work. I don't going to say the government's going to agree with absolutely everything in it, but it has some original and stimulating work in it that I think people need to read and to consider. There are very serious issues that our society faces to do with racism that we need to address. We've got to do more to fix it. We need to understand the severity of the problem. We're going to be looking at all the ideas that they've put forward, and we'll be making our response.
I suppose that the accusation is that you rigged the report by picking commissioners who'd actually previously dismissed institutional racism, and then, surprise, surprise, they say that this is not a problem.
Oh, well, actually, if you look at it, they've come forward with, I think, about 24 interesting ideas to promote equality of opportunity, to give people of all communities, all races, all backgrounds in this country more opportunity, but also to understand the true nature of the barriers and the discrimination that they unquestionably feel. So I think it's, there are some interesting things in it. I'm not going to say we agree with every word, but we're going to be responding in due course.
Big concern today about jobs at Liberty Steel.
Yes.
Will you step in to ensure no jobs will be lost?
We are working every day. The Department for Business is Kwasi Kwarteng is in daily contact with Liberty and the companies that are concerned with this. I think that British Steel is a very important national asset. I think the fact that we make steel in this country is of strategic long-term importance. We've learned during the pandemic that it's not a good idea to be excessively reliant in times of trouble on imports for critical things. We saw that with PPE, for instance. So we're going to need a strong steel. What we want to see is all the things that we're making out of steel in this country. Think of the things that we're doing. Think of the wind farms, the high-speed railway, the nuclear power stations, the beaching reversals that we're doing. All those things they all involve steel. It would be crazy if we were not to use this post-Brexit moment, not to use the flexibility we have to buy British steel. So that's what we want to do.
Are vaccine passports un-British, as Labour is suggesting today?
I think the most important thing is to continue the rollout of the vaccine programme for everybody. I think when it comes to, so I think that on the issue of vaccine certification, there's definitely going to be a world in which international travel will use vaccine passports, and you can see that already other countries, the aviation industry are interested in those, and there's a logic to that. I think when it comes to trying to make sure that we give maximum confidence to business and to customers, and here in the UK, there are three things: is your immunity, whether you've had it before, so whether you've got natural antibodies anyway, whether you've been vaccinated, and then of course whether you've had a test. And so those three things working together will, I think, be useful for us as we go forward.